The March 1st, 2012 Agenda Setting Committee voting meeting of the Carlynton School District Board of Directors is called to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and leading us, we have some students from Crafton Elementary, and we'll have an introduction.
Hi, good evening. These four lovely ladies are here tonight to talk with you because they are our newly elected student government at Crafton Elementary. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves and tell you what office they have earned, how they were elected by our staff. Say your name and tell them what your position is.
My name is Lynn. I'm the vice president.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Lloyd and I'm secretary.
My name is Tatiana Zabidi and I'm treasurer.
And what have we accomplished so far as a group?
We made our constitution and we made all the changes to it and we did all the vote.
And who might we want to thank for?
Mr. Wilson.
Definitely. Mr. Nagorski is sponsoring student government.
Yeah, Ms. Kostrick.
And Mrs. Kostrick is also helping as well, so we want to thank them.
That's fantastic.
We want to thank all the moms and dads who came out with their kids tonight to support them as well. And we look for wonderful new things from our government.
Well done, and congratulations to the four of you. And are you ready now to lead us in the pledge of allegiance? Everybody, please stand. Whenever you're ready, ladies.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Before we go to the roll, I was asked at the end of last meeting if all directors would make sure your mics are on and speak up and speak into them. Some folks were saying they had some difficulty hearing some of our discussion. With that, I'll turn to our secretary for the roll.
Director Apple.
Present.
Director Shell. Present. Director Cicero. Here. Director Walcolia.
Here.
Director Sharifah. Present. Director Egan. Director Schreiber.
Here.
Director Wilson. Director Russo.
Present. With that, we'll turn to the public. Any public comment on any of the agenda items? I didn't see anyone's name on the list we have out there, but if there's anyone now who would like to speak on any item that is on our agenda or current agenda, now's the time to do it. If there is anything else you'd like to bring up, we have at the end of after new business an opportunity for the public to address the board on any matter, any item they'd like to talk to us about at that time during the open forum session. I'll turn now to okay, actually we have a presentation. I went slightly out of order, I apologize. I'll turn to our superintendent for the presentation of the video that you've got for us today.
Okay, we're very pleased. We've been working for the past several months. Our staff has been working very hard to put together a video talking about the many varied initiatives in the Carlynton School District and how we promote academic progress. And I think rather than just go on and on, I'll make a few remarks at the end of it, but why don't we take a look at the video at this time. Let's get this out.
Sorry.
Let's restart it.
It's the best part.
That's the best part. There you go.
Hello. My name is David Russos, President of the Carlynton School District Board of Directors. Welcome to Carlynton. During this brief video presentation, we'll be taking you on a visit of each of our schools to learn more about academic achievement in the district and our continued efforts to enhance student performance.
Maslick, and I've been the principal here at Crafton Elementary since 2005. Over the course of the last 7 years, we have significantly improved our PSSA scores, meeting AYP every year in all subject areas. This has been accomplished through the hard work of our teachers and students and the support of our families. The ongoing success in our building is due to the coordination of many effective instructional components. One major factor has been the development of our response to intervention model. This system of student support is driven by ongoing data discussed at monthly grade level team meetings. These discussions and close monitoring of student progress ensure that no child is left behind. Quality instruction begins in kindergarten with students engaged in the development of early literacy and math skills. Word building is done daily, as well as student immersion in decodable texts. This strong foundation ensures that every child leaves kindergarten as a capable reader. Small group instruction is critical to PSSA success. Teachers collect ongoing data to determine appropriate groups and plan instruction accordingly. Learning centers are used regularly to provide targeted support to students while working independently and alongside their teachers. Beginning in 2nd grade, students begin to use the Study Island program. This online tool is aligned to Pennsylvania state standards and exposes students to test preparation questions in both math and reading. Teachers monitor student progress in this system and can coordinate it to the lessons they are teaching in their classrooms. Over the last 5 years, our PSSA scores have closely correlated to our Study Island results, proving that it is a valuable program.
My name is Carla Hudson, and I'm honored to be the new principal at Carnegie Elementary School. Carnegie Elementary is a school that has worked hard to make improvements throughout the years, and their scores in the PSSAs are evident of their efforts. During the 2010-2011 school year, we met annual yearly progress in both reading and in math. It is evident that the staff at Carnegie Elementary is committed to their student achievement.
My name is Janine Butts, and I teach 2nd grade at Carnegie Elementary. This year, we have been focusing on improving our reading scores. We are dedicated to making data-driven decisions to make instructional changes. Here at Carnegie, we believe that research-based instruction and data collection has to begin as soon as students enter the door. Literacy development starts early in life and is highly correlated with school achievement. Research-based instructional strategies are being utilized to increase reading achievement from kindergarten to 6th grade.
Studies have shown that there is a high correlation between reading skills and writing skills. Not surprisingly, students who were excellent readers were excellent writers. They know what paragraphs look like. They know paragraphs open with a topic sentence supported by facts and examples. Good readers are familiar with rules of punctuation and the grammar. After completing the Foresight assessment, which is given 4 times a year, teachers analyze the assessment with their students. Teachers and students review the assessment and are able to highlight areas they need remediation. This activity acts as a motivational tool that helps teachers teach reflective and goal-setting strategies for future assessments. Ultimately, this activity prepares the students to be confident when taking the PSSA for the first time. Differentiated instruction is a method of teaching that involves matching learning styles with abilities. Materials and instruction are based upon a student's reading level. The classroom is student-centered. It is inclusive of many strategies and techniques that best suit a class of students at any one time. The theory behind Reader's Workshop is that as students become better and more avid readers when they have ownership of what they read. Reading skills and strategies are taught daily in mini lessons and then reinforced and practiced using on-level novels the students choose for themselves. Using the PSSA Coach workbooks, we implement and reinforce the state anchors in daily preparation. We teach test-taking strategies and reinforce skills in multiple ways. Allowing students to become familiar and comfortable with the assessment format and teaching test-taking strategies helps to reduce test anxiety.
The inclusion of technology has been a major focus this year. Many rooms are equipped with Promethean boards and other tools that promote student engagement and interactive learning. With the continued improvements in this area, we are preparing our students to be innovative 21st century learners.
I'm Lee Mikeford, the Director of Pupil Services.
I'm Brian Harowitz, Carnegie Elementary 3rd and 4th ranked support teacher and curriculum coordinator for elementary special ed.
The services that we offer for students have increased greatly over the past few years. The Pupil Services Department includes programming for students with disabilities, gifted education, English language learners, federal programs, counseling services, and outreach with local community agencies.
With regards to students who receive special education services, our elementary schools have and continue to utilize research-based strategies and curriculums to meet the needs of our students, but we also adhere to state standards. This includes utilizing specific programs such as the Sobers West language curriculum, the SRA number worlds curriculum, and also utilizing and adapting the regular curriculum to make academic progress. Teachers have done a phenomenal job accommodating the needs of our students in many ways. This allows all students to participate in a general ed classroom with supplementary aids and supports before being removed from the classroom. By creating specialized schedules that maximize each student's academic performance, we have seen a positive increase in our special education's academic performance, which has been reflected by our state's PSSA test scores. This positive increase is directly related to the hard work our district has done to maximize each student's ability.
Good work.
My name is Robert Cassini, and I'm the principal at Carlynton Junior Senior High School.
And I'm Laura Burns, the assistant principal at the Junior Senior High School.
We are here to discuss the concentrated efforts taking place at the high school to broaden our students' academic experiences while at the same time addressing the requirements of the Pennsylvania Department of Education. In recent years, the academic program has undergone changes, including the following: an increase in the number of credits required for graduation, the addition of advanced placement classes, an SAT preparation class which has helped students increase their scores by an average of more than 150 points, and increased student participation in standardized testing such as the PSAT and SAT exams.
During the 2011-2012 school year, all staff at Carlynton Junior Senior High School have worked together to take actions in assisting our students in their performance on the PSSA exams. Among the new programs implemented are year-long reading courses in grades 7 and 8, implementation of a Title I reading program in the junior high school, co-teaching in a number of content areas in grades 7 through 12, regular grade-level meetings in which faculty members work together to plan instructional units and analyze data. Increased training has been provided relative to assessment data gathering during the school year. Teachers have taken this information and developed lessons to further assist students in their areas of need.
Each year, the Pennsylvania System of School Assessment, or PSSA, exams are a special focus at the junior senior high school. Our staff is committed to continual improvement, and we believe that we can and will do better, and are confident that our students will benefit from these efforts.
We have spent some time in service days and in faculty meetings, department meetings, putting more energy and more thought into what we need to do to prepare the students. There certainly is a higher degree of focus and energy that I think the entire school is putting on the exams itself.
We are the Carlynton School District, proudly serving the communities of
Carnegie,
Grafton,
Roslyn Farms, and thank you for supporting our students.
Congratulations to everybody involved with video. Dr. Pispirio, our IT department. Bob, very well done. Thank you.
And let me just say this, that video will be available on our website. And also, I have asked the principals to be sure that all the staff members see that video prior to the taking the PSSA exams. And I want to thank everyone, Bob, especially you, and the principals who work so hard with their staff and the kids in the buildings to put that together. We're just so pleased and so proud of that, and we think it's going to make a major difference in this year and how we approach the PSSA. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll entertain now a motion to approve the minutes of the February 16th, 2012 meeting. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Has been moved. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, we will vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? The motion carries. Moving on to reports. This board had met in executive session prior to this meeting. We had, during that session, discussed certain legal, contractual, and personnel issues. I believe that covers everything. Okay. With that, I'll turn to our principals for their reports. High school first, perhaps? Dr. Sassini, any report?
It would be okay with the word. I would really like to recognize one of our colleagues on a very special night. I think we should probably start with her. And I'd like to congratulate Dr. J.C. Massel on defending her dissertation today. She certainly the title is well deserved. And I just want to congratulate her.
Congratulations, Dr. Masler.
I was not at work today. I was at IEP, working with my committee to defend, and all the paperwork is signed and in the hands of the dean. So, yeah, it was very exciting.
Very exciting.
I did put a newsletter at everyone's place. Want to just mention that tomorrow night is family reading night at Carlynton Elementary. Please feel free to come out from 6:30 to 8:30. We do have the book fair going on and lots of fun activities planned. We also have a reading event going on this Saturday, March 3rd at Barnes & Noble at Settlers Ridge. It's a fundraiser where anybody who comes out to enjoy our guest readers and some crafts that we have going on, a portion of the sales all day on Saturday will go to our building. So we're excited about that. It's the first time we're trying that fundraiser. Want to acknowledge the students of the month. In kindergarten, Sean Hart. First grade, Olivia Chapman. Second grade, Madison Gorney. Third grade, Dylan Kunzweiler. Fourth grade, Jenna Craig. Fifth grade, Max Natero. And sixth grade, Jonah Schreiber. A couple of things coming up just to mention. March is Music in Our Schools Month. Mr. Priori, our music teacher, has 2 concerts that will be held for families on Friday, March 30th. A 4th grade show at 9:30 and a 3rd grade show at 10:30. Open to families and community members, so we hope folks will come out for that. And then also at the end of March, on the 27th, we have the Science Center returning to Crafton. If you recall, we happen to do this each year. I want to thank Mr. Schreiber and his wife. They're always instrumental in making sure that we've obtained the funds, the grant funds to pay for this program. There'll be assemblies for our students and then hands-on science activities all day long. It's a really exciting day. The kids just enjoy it very much. And this year the title is Colossal Fossil Fuels. Say that 3 times fast. So please come out if you have any time that day just to visit, or if you dare to volunteer. We're always looking for help. So thank you.
Thank you. Carnegie?
Sure. We'd like to thank the Carnegie Library and WQED for welcoming grades kindergarten through 2nd grade today for a program celebrating Reading Across America Week. We'd also like to thank the Police Department of Carnegie for their assistance in supporting the group. They've been wonderful to us, supporting us throughout the community. And we as well have our reading night tomorrow night from 6 to 8:30 with a book fair going on. I gave you guys a handout of the Carnegie Cougar Times. A couple other things going on this month. On Tuesday, March 6th, we're having a proficient partnership event where parents, for like a meet and greet, to meet me as well, and then to review some strategies to help their child when it comes to preparing to take standardized assessments. There's also a calendar in your packet that has other events that are happening throughout the month. On Thursday, the 21st, Sergeant Lynn from the Police Department will be doing a presentation on social networking safety for our students. Social networking is not going away, and it's something that 21st learners need to know how to do appropriately. So we're having a brief presentation for our 5th and 6th graders. Also on March 15th from 1:30 to 2:30, 4th grade is having their science learning showcase. So if you can come out, that would be great.
Fantastic. Any questions for either of the elementary school principals?
Are you also doing the positive behavior programs, or do you still need donations for the new campus centers? So we'll never turn away a donation. So whether it's also planned. Oh, sure. And you're looking for toys, books, craft kits, things like that. Sure. And if people want to donate, they can come to see you guys at the school directly to just keep that out there in the collective consciousness that the program is good, and if the students respond well, more support.
High school.
Last week on February 21st, 50 students were inducted into the Carlynton chapter of the National Honor Society, the National Junior Honor Society. We'd like to congratulate these students and their parents on the honor. We also want to congratulate 7th grade student Amanda Popovich, who recently found out that she will be spending 5 weeks this summer in an intensive ballet program with the Boston Ballet Company. Amanda has been dancing for 4 years and has been in a number of productions, including the Nutcracker representative summer. Junior Eliana Mayer was recently honored as the winner of the prestigious Gold Key Award for the Western Pennsylvania Writing Project. She won in the category of flash fiction for a short story, and another short story she wrote won a Silver Key in the short story category. We would also like to congratulate 8th grade student Marin Exler, who placed in the finals in last month's 18th annual Shakespeare monologue and scene contest with the Pittsburgh Public Theater. Marin earned this distinction in the category of monologue for grades 8 through 12.
Following up on that with obviously a lot of our talented students, this weekend we'll have 2 representatives at the PMEA Junior High School District Band Festival in 8th grade Dean Chubaroff and 7th grade student Rachel Roach. Today, Carlynton is represented at the WPIL Swimming Championships at Trees Hall, the University of Pittsburgh. We were represented by our boys relay team. It's consisting of Joe Baldanzi, Daniel Doyle, Jared Gardner, Ostap Schlitzen, and Ben Corvesna. This weekend, we'll be represented at the PIA Southwest Regional Wrestling Championships. We have 2 of our wrestlers, Senior David DeGola and Senior Nick Sappy. Last weekend, David placed 2nd in the weight classes of the sectionals, and Nick placed 5th. So we want to wish all of our student athletes a great deal of luck in their competition this week. As was mentioned by Mr. Cozy in the video that you just saw, the students and teachers are working extremely hard in preparation for PSSA exams. On the 13th and 14th of March, the students in grades 7, 8, and 11 taking the grades, as well as the reading exams. Students in grades 9 and 10 will be participating on one day on post-secondary workshops, and then on the second day, community outreach projects in our 3 municipalities. On those 2 days, all students will be dismissed at 12:30. We'd really like to congratulate all of our faculty members, and there were a great number that are working on putting this together, not only with the standardized testing part, but also the community outreach. So it's really fun for us.
Thank you. Any questions?
It's interesting that we're testing again. We may not have any latitude here, but it's days right after daylight savings. So everybody needs to make sure they get their sleep. Did we lose the hour?
That's why we do it.
Well, that's good.
Okay. Moving on, Director of Pupil Services.
I just wanted to thank the board for allowing me to attend the Pennsylvania Student Assistance Professionals training that was in State College last week. I handed out information to you about the types of workshops that are available for our junior and senior high students now for our student assistance program. The person that we have come in is a drug and alcohol prevention specialist and offers that to the classrooms and also see students individually with parent permission. So I just wanted to remind you that we have available at this period of time. And hopefully we'll have more next year based on what I just learned from the training. Thank you.
Great. Any questions? Our business manager.
Yes, thank you. I laid at your desk this morning a document that I received. It's a 2-page document. It's a spreadsheet that shows county assessment values comparing to the reassessment values that I'm sure all you received in your mail last week. This shows the southern tier of the county, broken out by boroughs and then school districts. Our current information is on page number 1, approximately just a little bit above halfway down. You can see that the column 2013 assessments have dramatically increased from the 2012 assessments by approximately $198 million. I do want to caution the board that this 2013 assessments are not going to be used for this next fiscal year, the 12-13 year. They will not be used for the 13-14 school year. Everybody will have an opportunity to look at their own personal situation, and if they feel that there's something wrong with their reassessments, they have the right to challenge that through an informal hearing or a formal hearing with the County of Allegheny. That information can be found on how to do that appeal. It can be found on the County of Allegheny's website. It's www.alleghenycounty.us. So again, I want to caution you that these numbers are not going to be used until the following school year, 13-14. But you can see there's some dramatic increases, and I would suspect, personal opinion, that this number that you see is going to drop, because you can see there's some dramatic increases. I thought I'd bring this to your attention so you can have this to review.
Kirby, so people understand how this will work. As you pointed out, we've all received assessments. People should not look at that assessment, do the math, figure out what their own personal assessed value increase is, and assume that is how much their taxes are going to go up. Is that correct?
That is correct. We're required by law that once the reassessed numbers are certified, now occur next year, in the year 2013, that we then must look at reducing our millage to remain revenue neutral. By that, revenue neutral is we can't collect any more via this reassessment than what we collected in the previous year. So we have to do some kind of calculation that's going to say what your new assessed value is as certified by the county, how much money was collected in the year 12-13, and do an algebraic calculation to lower our millage.
So this would result in a shifting of the tax burden as opposed to increasing revenues to a district. Is that correct? Our revenues are going to be the same?
We're not, we're not allowed, because of a reassessment, to reap any windfall.
Yes.
It must be plain and for the public to see that we're lowering our millage to capture what we had captured in the previous fiscal year. Certainly, if the board decides that they would like to increase millage, there's mechanisms that are in place that my suggestion is that you would do that twofold, that you would show a calculation that lowers it, to show what it would be for revenue neutral. If you need to raise millage, then you have a second motion.
I guess really where I was going with my question is that if, to use your phrase, revenue neutral, if that's what we're obligated to do, there will be some people who will pay more tax because their assessment went up a certain amount. But there will also then be people who may actually pay less in tax following this assessment, with putting aside whether or not the district would be increasing their revenues. If revenues are neutral, you'll see a shifting.
Total revenues for the district will be neutral. However, within the district, there will be winners and losers. And by that, someone's might have gone up larger than others. So individual taxpayers cannot expect neutral taxes. However, the district in total cannot reap any type of windfall.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Other questions for Kirby?
Kirby, just to further clarify, I had a resident ask me a similar question. If someone's taxes go up, if their assessment went up by a certain percentage, but that percentage might have been lower than the overall average for the community, is it possible that even though their assessment went up, their actual tax burden could potentially decrease if their assessed value went up less than the average?
Well, I certainly can't comment on what may occur, okay? Because again, as I said, these numbers are subject to change, and in my opinion, they will change. Ultimately, there will be a number set, and at that point, depending on what the millage rate will be lowered to, that individual might pay less or more depending on the percentage of their assessments going up. But I can't put a number on what the average increase would be for anybody that was above a certain percentage.
Other questions? Kirby, thank you very much. We'll move on then to our superintendent, Dr. DeFerro.
Thank you. Just very briefly, again, I'd like to thank everyone who was involved in the video. We do appreciate that so much, and I just think that you did such a wonderful job, and that certainly tells the story of what our school district, what the school district is doing and what our academic focus is. Again, I would remind you that video will be made available on the website. The other 2 points, we do still, I think, have the test-taking tips that parents and kids can pull off the website. Teachers will be reminding students of that prior to the test as well, and also things that parents can do to help their children prepare for the PSSA. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on, you'll also note that we have, you have in your packets minutes from the Parkway West meeting of February 7th, 2012. On to our agenda. Under miscellaneous, you'll see a list of conferences and field trip requests that have been presented. I'd entertain a motion to approve that list as presented. There is a motion. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, we will vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions, the motion passes. There are 5 items under finance. Number 5, we've added some additional language to it, and I will read that one in full. But the other 4 are the approval of the Borough of Roslyn Farms earned income tax, earned income tax refund as presented, the January 2012 cafeteria operating report, nomination of David G. Russos as trustee for the Western Region for the Allegheny County School Health Insurance Consortium for a 2-year period, the academic mental health services agreement between the district and Wesley Spectrum Services as presented. And then number 5 will read the services of California University and Pennsylvania graduate student Joseph Testa and Duquesne University graduate student Monica DeBolt to complete 2 separate 1-year internships as school psychologists within the district for the 2012-2013 year, contingent upon receipt of all applicable clearances and approvals within the next 60 days. Each intern will receive a stipend of $15,000 to be paid through access funds. Is there, and Michelle, I'll give you a copy of that if you need that. Is there a motion for those 5 items?
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on any of the items? Please identify the item by its number. There being no discussion, we will vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions, the motion carries. Under personnel, we have 3 items. The additions to the 2011-2012 day-to-day sublist, additions to the 2011-2012 athletic sublist, and a request for an intermittent leave of absence for employee CFT 12-06. Is there a motion for the approval of these 3 items?
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on 3 items? Please identify the item you'd like to discuss by the number. There being no discussion, we will vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions, the motion carries. Under Student Services, we have a motion to approve an educational trip and tour of Antietam National Battlefield in Maryland for various history classes. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, we will vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions, the motion carries. Finally, under policy, we are, so I am clear, these items have been presented to the district more than 30 days ago. So we have some modifications to our policy for policies numbers 302, 303, 404, 504, and 505, which are including modifications for stricter background checks to remain compliant with the school code. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, we will vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? The motion passes. With that, we will move on to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business the director would like to bring up at this point in time? There being none. Yes, sir.
Sorry, we want to talk briefly about the renovation projects, the potential renovation projects, and if there's any update or movement on that.
I'll remind everyone, Ray and Betsy, been working with Dr. DiCurio and John Recchio on this. Anything new from any of you that you'd like to share with us?
Well, we have met, and we've met with John Recchio, and we put together a list. Basically, John Recchio put together a list of things that he feels are pretty essential to do in the various schools. And then last week, Mrs. DeSarro, myself, John, and some of the architects from Architectural Innovations met with some of the anticipated projects. And where we left it at this point is they're going to put together a priority list, kind of detail what is involved in the various parts of the project. It involves every building in the district, basically from heating to roofing work, to those kinds of issues, some modifications in the electrical, possibly the cafeteria. We'll lay out the specifics and try to nail down some accurate, what I'll call cost estimates, and then we'll be presenting those to the board and we'll move forward. Some of the projects we're attempting to identify as things that need to occur prior to the students returning for the next school year. So that would be in August of this year.
We have a rough timeline. If any of those things have to be started in June, I assume we'd have to put together a list of items or a scope of work and then put out bids and this kind of thing. Is that working back into the timeline?
We are, and that's what Jan Brunmeyer and Joe Stagnall are working on at the present time. A timeline, cost estimates, what needs to be done and who needs to be involved.
Do you have a guess as to when some of that will be coming in front of us to discuss?
I'm hoping that we can do that certainly by the first meeting in April, or our first board meeting.
Talking about the work, this work we're going to be doing, of course we have a fund balance. We'll be drawing from those funds to pay for this. Kirby, I have a question for you. Would it make sense for us to place in reserve some of the monies from our general fund balance that would be designated specifically for our facilities? There are such funds that are set up in school districts to cover specific items. In this case, it'd be facilities. What are your thoughts on this?
Currently, the fund balance is split into two pieces. There's a $400,000 piece that is set aside for future retirement costs. The remainder of the fund balance, which is approximately $13.4 million, in addition to this $400,000 total $13.8, is sitting in an unassigned category, which means you can do anything you want with it at any time. The board certainly can designate any of those funds and move them around at your convenience. I would suggest that once you have some firm numbers that you know that you want to use, that you do that, and I think that would be a prudent thing.
Anything else on this one? Any other unfinished business the director has on this one?
Can we update the public on the superintendent search?
This board met following the last meeting 2 weeks ago. We met with Diane Kirk from Tri-State. I just know it's Tri-State. What is Tri-State? And she is, Dr. Kirk is leading the effort to find us a new superintendent. We met, we were updated in terms of what's happened so far. We've been advertising the position, brochures have gone out. There's been a proactive outreach to candidates who would be prime, I'll say, would be likely individuals who'd want to consider this. They may be assistant superintendents or superintendents in nearby school districts. They might be certain individuals finishing up doctoral studies within the local universities. Dr. Kirk headed up that effort, so we had been getting a pretty fair response, as I recall. As of 2 weeks ago, I haven't heard an update as to where we stand today. We then got together and set up a schedule to do the tasks that we need to do, to interview folks, separate the applicants, to interview initially, to have final interviews. And what we really started off with was what we recognized to be the need to get this done as soon as possible. We set April 12th, I believe, as the date for a special meeting for this board to get together to approve, to make an offer, to basically vote on making an offer to someone. Why did we decide on April 12th? The concern was there are a number of districts who are looking for superintendents right now. We want to be out there first. We want to make the first offer. We don't want to find ourselves in May or June when the candidates that, a candidate that we might have really liked to get an offer to, who may have really wanted to come here, has already accepted an offer somewhere else. So we thought it was prudent. All of us unanimously agreed, those of us who were there, to set that date and then to fill in all the other dates. So that is for the final interviews, for the preliminary interviews, etc. Fill those all in to get there. It's an aggressive schedule. Not everyone can make every meeting, but it's one that we all committed to and we're going forward with at this point. There's been some discussions as to whether it can be modified. Certainly, if any director wants to talk about that, we can do that. But that's what we did after the last meeting 2 weeks ago, and that's where we stand right now.
So for the proposed calendar, one of the dates is Wednesday, March 14 for focus groups. And so the board.
Thank you, yes. That's a very important, if I may, that's a very important aspect of this, and I thank you for that. One of the things that we will be doing is reaching out within the district, to various groups, such as administrators, such as faculty, such as staff, such as community, PTA, to engage with them. This group would not do it, the board would not do it, but Dr. Kirk would basically engage with these groups to see what they felt was important in the superintendent for what they do and how they function, and just get some input from these groups so we can really identify somebody who's going to best fit with exactly who Carlynton is. I mean, is that fair to say?
For their ideas for them. So in terms of discussing the schedule, is this a date that we're happy with, that we can post and advertise accordingly and all of that?
We've already, in terms of there's going to be 2 broader comments for criteria for the new superintendent, Naira, and one will be the 13th. That will be kind of a focus on employees in the district of various sorts to give their input, and then on the 14th, we're going to provide an afternoon for public comment, including community members, PTA, parents, whomever would like to come. And also, we're posting on the website. In fact, we already have it posted, right, Michelle? That people, those who are not, it's not convenient for them to attend those meetings, will be able to send their direct comments to the search consultant, who is Dr. Diane Kirk at the University of Pittsburgh's Tri-State Area Study Council, and she'll be incorporating that criteria into the search criteria for the new candidate.
One of the questions I had for the Tuesday, March 13th, for the time slot for the teachers, I saw that the meeting place was going to be here, and I just wanted to be sure that the elementary teachers had enough time to get here.
We're modifying those a little bit. Those were general. We actually discussed that. We're stretching out the parent and community times. We're stretching out the teacher time so that everyone has an ample opportunity. And if for some reason, even with the time they can't make it, they'll have an opportunity to contact Dr. Kirk directly.
So, do we need to do anything as a board tonight to say yes to these dates, no to these dates, and how do we proceed at this point?
We are proceeding. If someone wants to talk about it or change or have a discussion about it, we can do that. But we had set out some dates, and anyone is welcome to bring up anything they'd like to at this point in time. Otherwise, that is the schedule that we are proceeding.
Okay, so the schedule that we've been given is no longer just proposed, but potentially fee schedule.
What we've agreed to.
Provided, I guess, depending on the discussion goes tonight, if there's any discussion. Yeah, because it's a long list of dates.
Any other discussion, questions, comments regarding the superintendent search?
One quick comment. I think it's important to note that the questions raised to Dr. Kirk about the volume of applications we would get, the amount of interest we would get. And I think the preliminary number, if you look at both applications and calls of interest or inquiries, is in like the 25-person range, which was felt to be a very strong response initially. So I think that maybe validates our candidate pool, at least from a numbers perspective, it gives us hope that we'll have an excellent candidate.
In the past, I lost a piece of paper. Somebody called me and asked to be part of this participation as kind of paper for my name. But if the officers just get the word out there that the information is on the website, for those kind of people who can't make these focus groups, there are ways to contact Dr. Kirk directly. Because she is the one, not we, she is the one who collects all this information.
Absolutely.
And she compiles it and presents it to us. So in terms of the focus group, we are not really a part of that process.
In fact, she's done many of these, and she was very specific, I would say insistent, that the board
and the
superintendent are not in attendance.
But if we can just get the word out, you can go to the website, there's more information there.
And also on our TV, Michelle reminds me, also on our TV channel as well. And I will ask the principals to, in the various buildings, to get the word out as well.
Anything else? Any other unfinished business? We'll move on to new business. Any?
Okay, Michelle, it's just saying we also sent out some emails, email blast, I would say.
We did an email blast to the entire staff today, and I've already received quite a few people who have responded that are interested in attending.
So we're getting good. And just to comment, not to go on and on, but Mr. Schreiber, you're absolutely right. I think to have over 20 candidates, even actually, quite frankly, over 15 candidates who were interested in a leadership role in this district speaks to the quality of the school district and the fact that it's it's well respected in our region.
Moving on to new business, is there any new business the director would like to bring at this point in time?
I just want to make a comment that I noticed apparently the stage curtains are going to be installed. I just noticed that on the schedule of events that March 12th. It's just good news. And the other thing, and again, this is on the district schedule, and I'm sure the public is aware that we will be neighborly with our school district on tour, allowing them, the senior high swim team, use our pool facility after hours when we were not using it. And I just noticed that we're going to be allowing the junior high team. So I just think that's something to be noted, that just a little bit of reciprocity that they've done for us and we're doing for them.
Thank you.
It's nice to share.
Any other new business? I'd like to talk about the current effort involving Rawson Farms, and it's the attempt by some to petition the state to have it secede from the Carlynton School District. It's something we're all familiar with. We've heard a lot about. In fact, this week, I believe, there was a ruling on, am I going to pronounce it correctly, Wrigglesville, where there had been a petition filed. There had been a determination by the Secretary of Education and a ruling by a trial court that was appealed, it was vacated, remanded, reheard. A decision's been reached. It sounds, from what I've read, Mr. Andrews, it sounds like there's been some, at least at this point, stipulations and agreement amongst the parties just to move forward with it, but it sounds like that's done. And in this instance, you had a community which had found itself in two separate school districts, and what the state has done is said, we'll let this one community be in the one district. Our situation is a little bit different. I had asked this board, I had been assuming as to what the position of this board was, and I had asked this board last 2 weeks ago, was in fact my assumption correct? Are we all in agreement that we do not want to see Rawson Farms through this district? And what we've learned is that Director Sharippa had notified us that in fact she is in favor of Rawson Farms secession. Is that fair to say, Patty? Okay. Patty, I don't understand
well, David,
the reasons for it.
This is not a board matter. This is a PDB. We have nothing to say about it. Board members' opinions are irrelevant.
If I may, the question that I had asked everybody was, where do you stand on this? And you said you're in favor of it. And I had asked you, how do you explain to the residents of Crafton and Carnegie why you support Rawson Farms' departure? How does that help Carlynton? Because I don't, and I don't think many of us see where that provides any benefit to this district. Where is that benefit to us?
I'm not going to answer that, David. It's not our decision. No matter what my opinion is, it's not my decision. It's not your decision. It's the state level.
Well, I'm not sure if you're aware of the process that's involved, but this district is in the process now of completing a questionnaire as directed by the State Department of Education. We are very much involved in this. Of course, it's not our decision. It's the decision of the court. But in the courts do is they listen to the parties, they take information, and they make determinations. We are critically involved in this, in advocating our position and letting those decision makers know the outstanding nature of this district, the huge accomplishments that we've had, and how really wonderful this district is in terms of what it provides educationally for our kids. So I disagree with you that we aren't involved.
Well, then we will disagree, because that's where I stand.
Well,
secondly, I just want to say, the school code states school board members do not have the power to remove board members. And that was in an incredulous email this week. And I just want to say that.
I am not familiar with the code section, and no one is talking about it.
Oh, it was in an email.
I'll read you what I wrote, if you'd like me to. Is that, so we're clear? This is an email that I'd sent to Patty. It followed initially an email on her part where she had told us that she was in favor of Rawson Farms being stripped away from the district. I followed that up asking if she would explain, which as I did today. I did not hear back from her, and I asked again.
That's because we are not allowed to have correspondence like this in an email trail. This is something that has to be expressed and openly discussed at open session.
Wow, that's really amazing.
I-
You're calling that in now. After all the email trains that I've diverted over the past 2 years, let's have this discussion in a public session and then this is basic playing war. But before we get into this sort of more personal vein, at this point, our input as a board is critical because our leadership position, how we handle ourselves, how we manage ourselves, what we present, and the positions that we take, and how we support the administration, and how they complete the questionnaire, at this point is critical. And just because the ultimate decision is not in our hands, it does not mean that we just throw up our hand and say it is not for us to decide. We have what little input we have that opportunity now. And so what we do as a board is important. And if individual board members feel a particular way, for however they feel, they have that right. But I also believe, and it might be just my personal opinion, that there is some sort of accountability that needs to be had in justifying that personal opinion. It can't just be because I feel like it or because it just seems this way to me. There has to be a justification to all three communities. And at this point, at this critical point where we do have an opportunity to express our opinions, to state our case, how we as a board direct ourselves and support the administration is absolutely critical. And if we can't come together as a board with a position to defend and present to the administration at this time, we are hobbling ourselves. And so my frustration is coming from, let's throw up our hands because it's not our decision. Absolutely, for me, that is unacceptable because when it comes to public education, when you took 20 minutes of my life to present that DVD for standing up for public education, it was propaganda. We all saw that. But the fact that you can't stand behind that and say, let us take a stand for what we have locally. It's not just what's happening in Harrisburg. It's not what's happening in Washington, D.C. It's happening in our very own backyards. And however you feel about it, at least defend it and justify it to the electorate, to people in all three communities who voted for you. They deserve some sort of justification as to why do you feel that way. You have every right to feel how you feel. I'm not trying to change your opinion. But as a board, as a corporate body, we need to have a position. And we need to be able to defend and support our positions.
78% of the Roslyn Farms residents signed the petition.
They signed the petition.
I'm a representative of Roslyn Farms, and I was.
You are a representative of Carlynton, Patty.
Carlynton.
That's the disconnect. That's the disconnect.
And for you who tore into a different, another board
So
member
my
because...
opinion's irrelevant is what we're saying.
No.
I get that, I get that.
No, that's what
Let's
you are
move on.
saying.
It's
No,
never
that's
going
what
to
you're
change
saying
it.
and
My
what
opinion's
you
irrelevant, I understand.
Patty, we just want to understand it.
Discussion. Why is it if I challenge you, if we have a discussion, all of a sudden you are irrelevant, you give up? We are here to present
You're going to sit
different
here and try to
opinions.
badger me until I change my opinion.
I
and that's
am not.
gonna
I am
happen.
not interested in changing your opinion. Your personal opinion, honestly, to me personally, does not matter. What matters to me is how we can come together as a board, as a corporate entity, and come up with a position.
My
The
position
majority,
stands.
your position, yes, but we need some justification. So yes, we do, because as a corporate body, we have to come up out of many minds. We have to come up with a position and a way to support the administration, because my assumption is the administration is going to try to fight this. And we as a board, as the leadership of this district, have to support this. And have to support the administration. Should the majority of the board decide? There have been many decisions that the board has made that I have not personally agreed with, but I tried to offer my justification. And if people try to change my opinion, that's fine. My opinion is not going to change. I'm not asking you to change your opinion, but I'm looking for some justification. So as we go on as a corporate body,
So 78% of Roslyn Farms is not justification.
we also have to examine the circumstances under which they signed that petition. You have to take into the account the context
of that situation.
It's at the state level. It doesn't, our opinion doesn't matter.
Our opinion matters because we represent this district and we represent students within this district and
Well, whether it matters.
We're going to disagree.
I'd like to read this email because I think you misrepresented what I was saying. And as I said below, this came about after some emails back and forth. An email I sent to you on Tuesday, I had said that I'd hope to get an answer from you, but you hadn't sent one. And after that, I said, so you were aware, to let you know, Patty, I said, I personally feel that your support for Roslyn Farms secession shows a failure on your part as a director to work for the, quote, total interest of the school district, and is therefore a violation of our policies. Our code of ethics states in relevant part that it shall be the constant endeavor of a director, and I quote here, to resist every temptation and outside pressure, to use my position as a school board member to benefit either myself or any other individual or agency apart from the total interest of the school district. I go on. Some may consider it grounds for removal from the board. For the record, at this time, I would not vote to remove. That's what I said.
However, continue, please.
However, I do believe other more appropriate action or actions may be considered and taken. I'm not, Patty.
Bill, would you like to address this?
Yes, I'd be happy to address it. I mean, I think there is, look, each individual board member is entitled to their opinion. I think that goes without saying. Each individual board member can question another board member's opinion, but that doesn't obligate that person to say anything or explain anything. Certainly each individual board member has a fiduciary duty to the body to which they serve. How that fiduciary duty is applied, I think, is a determination to be made by each individual board member and in effect vote their conscience. Certainly I think board members who have asked for an explanation are within their rights to ask for it. I think Mrs. Sharippa is certainly within her rights to state her opinion and say that's all I'm going to say beyond that. It becomes somewhat of a loggerhead at that point. Just so everybody's clear on the process that we are in right now, this matter has been presented to the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County. They made a determination, Judge Weddick, that there was sufficient showing of interest at that time to refer it to the Secretary of Education. The Secretary of Education has issued a questionnaire. It runs 5-6 pages and is very detailed. It has not only data that can be spit out of a computer and is just hard data, but it also has a number of questions that deal with the whys and the wherefores and the should we's, as opposed to how many kids are in each grade and things of that nature. So that is a that's an item that is due in Harrisburg somewhere around April 2nd or 3rd, and we are all in the process of working on it. I want to be clear that the administration, as well as myself as solicitor, will take direction from the majority of the board as to how we are going to proceed. If the majority says, in effect, fight against the creation of the independent district, that's certainly what the administration and the solicitor will do. On the other hand, if the majority says no, we would be happy with the creation of the independent district, we would proceed in that way. That decision does rest with this board as the elected officials for the Carlynton school district. So I don't know that I can really referee it, if you will, beyond that. I think both sides certainly have the right to speak their mind and ask questions, but neither side really has a duty to say yes or no, or to justify beyond what has been said or what they feel comfortable saying.
Just to reiterate, if I may, on the process, petition was submitted. That petition went to a court. The court found it to be sufficient to move this process forward. That court will make a ruling, but it will make a ruling based on a determination made by the Secretary of Education.
The court originally, David, and members of the board made no determination on the merits. All they made a determination involved was that the process was followed and sufficient interest was shown. Once they do that, the statute provides for the judge to send it to the Secretary of Education. And in the mind of the legislature that passed these statutes, that decision is best made by the educational expert of the state, that being the Secretary of Education.
And the Secretary has asked us to provide certain information.
As well as Chartiers Valley.
As well as Chartiers Valley. It's provided that, I believe, also to the petitioners in Rosslyn Farms to respond if they so choose.
If they so choose.
But we're obligated to respond.
Well, if we don't, he'll draw whatever inference he chooses from that. It certainly would not be in your best interest to ignore it. But
the Secretary of Education has come to us and wants information from us.
He wants input from both receiving and sending districts. That is correct. Mr. Ripper, is there anything else I can add or answer?
I certainly am not here to try to change anybody's opinion. I was hoping to get some understanding. I'm not here to vote to remove anyone from office, although I disagree with you as to what the powers of this board are. But, well, you know, okay. I still disagree that the board isn't empowered in certain situations to remove a director. We don't need to have that discussion here now. And certainly, I recognize that all of Carlynton has elected all of us, and I respect that. I think it's very serious, the act of removing a director. So I certainly am not advocating it, and I would not vote for it except in the most extreme of examples. However, this board has acted on its own to do certain things that it is empowered to do, certain appointments. And those appointments are of individuals to represent this district and this board before other bodies. Mrs. Sharippa was elected to serve on SHASDA, to represent this district at the South Hills Area School District Association. Patty, I'm going to make a motion to remove you as a representative of SHASDA, because I don't feel you're representing this district. You said so yourself, you know. So I don't think it's appropriate for you to be there anymore, and you're certainly not representing this board. So I make the motion to remove Director Sharippa as our representative to SHASDA. Do I have a second?
Did we have discussion on it before the second? Or?
No, we make a motion, we have a second, and then we discuss.
Well, if I'd like to discuss it, I guess I'll second.
Okay. I stated my reasons. I put it out there. Anyone else wish to discuss?
I would, because I know it was establishing in the law. I understand that. But I also hear what you're saying, and maybe, I know that we have busy lives outside the school board. I'm talking, Director Sharippa, not to the former directors, but to you.
This is incredulous to me.
No, can you hear me out?
I'm fine, go ahead.
The problem I'm going to have going against Director Russo in this is knowing that what is going on with the superintendent search and your schedule being so full that you could not come to those preliminary meetings when everyone is saying this is the most important decision the board is going to make. What that does, and you may not have realized it, what that does is shake our faith in you. That, and that's just human nature. And so I understand how much SASB means to you because you have served on that board for many years. But it's come to this point now where you, because of your behavior, you're going to have to, at this stage now, you're being called to account for it. And will you participate more? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, for the years that I've been on here, I think you've missed maybe 2-3 meetings, and then the meetings that you've missed since the new board has come on. It cannot.
I've only missed one board meeting.
You've missed 3 meetings since.
You've missed the preliminary, and not just the board meetings, but the preliminary.
Missed no meetings as vice president.
I didn't realize we needed these apps.
You don't. I'm just stating the facts.
No, not excuse me.
As reflected in the minutes.
Joe, we had this conversation. Didn't I email you and tell you where it was?
I I do have other committees I serve on.
Patty,
I'm on classroom council for 1 evening.
You have every right to miss a meeting. I'm not
Well,
disputing
then, I
that.
really don't know that I need to hear this. I do have other committees, I do have other obligations.
But whatever we decide at these other meetings, then
And
you
just like,
complain.
just like board meetings, they are predetermined.
But then when we have decisions that happen at these meetings, then you act as if we're doing something behind your back. And I said, well, it can't be both. If you miss a meeting because of whatever it is, and I opened with, I understand we all have busy lives. Because we do all have busy lives outside of this. This is volunteer, this is community service, what we do. And so, I don't know how other people want to participate in this discussion, because I understand that this is harsh.
Well, Ira, I think there was an assumption that there was some move here to remove Patty. Certainly that was never my intent, as I think it's pretty clear from the email. But I do think as a board, we have the right to appoint folks who feel best represent this body. I don't feel Patty's representing this. I mean, she's stated outright she's representing Rossman Farms. And I think this attempt to strip out Rossman Farms will hurt this district. I don't think she's representing us. I think she's acting clearly contrary to our interests, and as such, I think it's a rather modest step for this board to take to say we don't want you representing us before other bodies. So I would ask that you reconsider the statement you made and support my motion.
Well, also, what is the impact to Shasta?
We will appoint someone else.
I'm president of Shasta. The conference is coming up, and it's in charge.
That's so more than just
I organize it, I take care of the whole. Dr. Sassini, do you want to discuss the conference?
The conference goes up coming. Would like me to.
Feel free.
Every year we, if you remember, I believe it was 2 meetings ago, we had the 2 seniors who we nominated for the Shasta Award. And each spring, usually we have a 2-day meeting. But on the second day, we have a breakfast, it's brunch. And then there's a guest speaker, and we have with all the students from Shasta, the school usually has 2 awardees. They're recognized. It's a very nice ceremony. It's a real highlight for the students, their families, and just a very, very nice get together. And their last week, we had a meeting. It was a student forum. One of our students represented us extremely well. And we're all very proud of our seniors. So those are the kind of things that we've done with Shasta that we
Okay, any questions for that? Anything anyone else would like to say?
just that, aside from our board business, I'm trying to, at this moment, figure out the impact to Shasta. Without just we appoint someone to fill a position, it doesn't mean that they can kind of give up slack or coming for that organization. I don't know if you understand.
I understand. I mean, that's a fair point to make. But I feel the action is certainly appropriate. It's not about an opinion. It's about failure to represent the district. And I think that's right.
I guess my question is, my thoughts are I'd like to think about this a little bit. I was wondering if it were possible to table the
Any director could make a motion to table. If it gets a second, that's a non-debatable motion that must be voted on immediately. So if you make a motion to table, and then there is a second, then it would go from there. What's that?
I would not consider it an unfriendly gesture if you made such a motion.
It wouldn't be. friendly, I wouldn't consider it friendly or unfriendly. I would like to make that motion, consider making that motion, because I would like to contemplate the situation a little more. There's many comments I'd like to make. I won't make any at this point, but I may in the future. I think that, given some time to consider, having some time would allow us to at least make some due process considerations. And I'd like to make a motion to table this motion at this time.
There was a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. There's
There is no discussion. It's a non-debatable motion.
There's a motion to table. Let's do a roll call vote on the motion. And just so we're clear, this is a vote to table the motion to remove Director Sherpa from Shasta. So a yes vote means we're just not dealing with it now and can deal with it at any future time. A no vote means that we will deal with it now.
Yes, Director Shriver.
Yes.
Director Montgomery.
Yes.
Director Shell.
Yes.
Director Sherpa.
I abstain.
Director Tessera.
Yes.
Director Hewlett. I'm sorry, Director Russo.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherpa, you abstained, but you not based
Yeah,
on
I
any
abstained.
conflict of interest, as I understand it. I understand the legal or the practical, but not on a legal conflict, so there would be no need for you to fill out an abstention.
Is there any other new business that a director would like to bring up at this point in time? There being none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Open forum. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, if you'd step forward and to the mic and speak to the board.
Tom Petro, Carlynton. Can I ask the board a question? Has any board member approached Roslyn Farm about leaving the district? And has approached that borough why they're continuing the process to leave the district? Any board member? The board as a whole.
Just
Because they were strong supporters of Save Our School, which is going to happen, but they're still leaving. Has this board approached them yet?
It's not.
The Roslyn Farms is not. This is not a Roslyn Farms borough action. This is an action brought forward by residents of Roslyn Farms.
But this is an idea that I know I talked a little bit with Dr. Vancouver about, is at what point, or is there a point, do we as a district send a representative in and have discussions
Yeah, that's, I guess,
with Roslyn?
Well,
could you have done that?
I believe that.
Not before this point.
I believe that there.
You couldn't send a representative to their council to get some kind of idea why they're continuing the process of leaving the district.
Council is not doing that.
It's not a council, it would have to be with that core resident group. So
Have you tried that?
and that's
Approach the
something.
core
I
resident.
don't, this board has not formally voted on taking any such action. I believe individuals have spoken to members of that group. I know I have individually spoken to members about this.
I think that would be a strong statement if the board to do that as a whole to approach that group, not just specific individuals.
Perhaps it's something to consider then.
I still don't understand that process.
So one of the things that I was talking to Dr. Fairbairn about, and listening to, then one of the things that I wanted to get was an official position, and I think I would be stronger if we had an official district position to present when we talk to them, have a unified front. So we're in the process of it, but I think if we do something like that, we have to be prepared and we have to be unified and we have to be clear. And it's I think
I guess
something
not
that's
unified to, I mean, this board's gonna move on regardless if there's one person that thinks something or two, you're gonna still move on with the process. So you may never get an all yes vote, like you said.
Right.
So
And
if you have one
when I
person
say
who's
unified, I don't mean
Okay.
unanimous.
Right.
I don't
So-
mean unanimous. I mean more like a cohesive district position.
I guess my question is, why would this board have taken such a long time to make that determination? You knew since last May what was going to occur, because it wasn't official until November. We all knew what was going to happen. Once the new board took office, what would take so long in unifying to find out why that process is going to continue?
I mean, if it's already at us, why not the old board? I mean, there were discussions that.
No, the old board wasn't. There was some discrepancies with the old. But I'm just saying, once the new board took office, to me, I would want to know right away why Roslyn was going to continue this process if they were such strong supporters of saving the schools, which we have. And I have no problem with that. So, to me, that would have been an immediate question of why you continue the process to leave. I mean, they're getting the best of both worlds. If they get to leave, I can do that. If not, saving our schools, we get the best of both worlds. I guess my thought now is the message is going to be sent. They were in favor of saving our schools. There's a community saving our schools. They got it. Now that they have the chance to leave, what message does that send to the public about this school district? I'm a little fearful of that message.
I think some of the people said, signing that petition was all during the whole building project process, and the way that was handled pushed this issue. And I mean, there's no denying it. The way that we handled as a board that whole issue pushed this issue. And so people signed, and then the decision was made, and clearly that, oh, the building isn't going to be made. So I think some residents find themselves in a position where, what do I do now? And I think for some people, who have asked me, I said, well, I think you need to write a letter to Secretary Tamales asking that have your name removed. I mean, that's the extent of the petition. That's the extent of what it takes to say to people.
So then I guess I could question that process of why these people would sign, knowing that that may not be what they truly want to do.
So they were frustrated. They felt devalued.
Well, then that would give me more basis to approach them much quicker to get this process reversed. I would just do that as quick as possible.
But I think you'll find the answer if you ask yourself the same way. Why didn't the old board do that when we knew that was happening? It's a very difficult situation.
If I may, Tom, we don't have in this group of petitioners an organized, structured body to sit down and say negotiate with. I'm not suggesting that's what you're saying, but to have some kind of conversation, some kind of engagement. That's what I'm hearing you suggest.
I guess I could look at that petition, and I'll bet I could find you 4 or 5 residents that would form a committee to meet with board members. I don't think I'd have any issues. Just to find out why these people are going to continue this process. Or maybe they could go to the community and say, let's drop this process, let's pull our petition back, and we stay part of the district because we are saving schools. Which, again, I have no problem with that. So I would think you could find, David, a strong body within that petitioning body that would meet and organize to meet with the board.
I have had conversations with individuals very active within this movement. I have in no way gotten any sense from them that they would be willing to consider anything other than leaving the district. They have made it clear, and it was made clear to me, their belief, absolute belief, that they will be successful, which I disagree with wholeheartedly. But I applaud you're coming forward with these ideas and suggestions to try to find some kind of amicable, negotiated settlement to this issue. I wish it was that simple. I don't see that that's going to get us anywhere, frankly. I mean, I wouldn't object to something like that, but I think where we are right now is
I guess my question would be then is, what's the difference when any board member's opinion is? If they're that strong in pursuing this, I would not worry about a board member's opinion, whether they agree, disagree with Roslyn Farms. If that's their opinion, that's what Roslyn Farms is going to do. It doesn't matter what your opinion is.
If you're specifically,
you're not working for the district,
if this is specifically going toward the discussion we just had with regard to Mrs. Sharippa, my thing is, she is welcome to her opinion.
Right.
No one's trying to change her opinion. However, I find if someone states publicly a certain position, which clearly on its face hurts this district, I find that individual to be acting contrary to the best interests of the district. That is why I made the motion that I made. That's what that's all about. I had hoped for some explanation, which I didn't get, to maybe help me understand. Clearly, if Roslyn Farms leaves, it's bad. What is the justification? Bad for all of Carlynton. What is the justification for that position? And
I think,
my hope that it's going to be coming, discussions, this is my personal hope, that discussion will be coming soon. But with the timing, the questionnaire we just received a couple of weeks ago, to give us an opportunity to have discussions and figure out where we are as a board, to have individual input from board members and residents to say, this is why I think this is a good idea, this is why I think it's a bad idea. To look at that and compile that, and then have something to say to the folks in Rosslyn Farms who are leading this petition movement, to say, this is what we feel, this is why we feel, let's discuss from that point. Right now, it's involved, all the opinions are kind of out there. We have to coalesce them as a district to form an opinion. And why it matters, why someone feels a certain way, or why the board makes a certain decision, is because it's not so much, I'm not so much at this point worried what I need to say to the residents who are filing the petition. I'm more worried about how do I answer questions from people from Crafton, people from Carnegie, who ask me about that. So part of the process is to organize ourselves and our thoughts and our position before we go and talk with someone from that group. And that is what I'm working towards. And does it seem a little slow? Yes, but you know what? We hadn't received any word yet from PDE, and there were a lot of other fires in this district that we needed to put out that had more immediate impact.
Wait for that result, and maybe it was too late. I guess now my thing would be, as soon as the new board took office, you knew they were going to continue. To me, I would have to answer any questions to Kraft and Carnegie if the board was that we are approaching Rosslyn Farms about this, the community members. We're going to try to approach them to convince them to stay with the district and withdraw that petition. That would have been the easiest answer. I would not want to be able to answer that question.
I wish you would have started that movement when you were on board. But to come here now, and it's always easy to play backseat driver. But to come here
when
now,
I was on board, there was an issue of building new versus renovating.
Was this board not of the same mind in terms of Rosslyn Farms?
At the time, nobody wanted Rosslyn Farms to leave.
You two were on opposite sides, but I imagine you both want to see. Do you want to see Rosslyn Farms stay?
Sure.
Well, and Naira wants to, and you guys are on opposite sides of the business.
Too, David, they were leaving also. So I mean, everybody was leaving because of the
Who was leaving? Besides Rosslyn Farms.
Oh, Crafton.
I think they also said they were leaving. I'm just not. I don't
One
want to
person
go down this
said that
road.
one
I didn't want to go
time.
down this road. I'm just asking the initial question. I would think it'd be very beneficial for this board to approach the community.
Yes.
To me, it's taking a little too long. That's thank you.
Tom,
Yeah.
just to clarify something, for you not to be confused about the Save Our Schools support that we receive.
Right.
The majority of the folks were concerned about incurring debt. So I wouldn't say that there was a strong support for Save Our Schools. I would say that the core group of this petition group were at a point where they needed to have the building project stop because they did not want to incur debt because that would make this process a problem.
Okay, it's
There's a lot of complications.
Okay, it's stopped now. It's stopped. It's now stopped. We are not going to incur debt as far as right now anyway.
But they still had it in their mind.
Okay,
they wanted to.
Then my question is, it's stopped. Why are they continuing the process? If all I want to see is stopped, it's stopped.
I'm just
now
explaining why they
Why don't you pose that question to them? Why don't you pose that question to them? If it's simply a matter of...
I'm thinking, I would like to see the board pose that question.
No, I mean, and that's
the board. If I was on the board, I would pose that question to her.
Then why didn't you? I mean, to go
I was on the other fence. I was in support of a new building.
But when all that fell apart and there was that interim time when the building project, you knew for all intents and purposes wasn't going to happen, and before the new board came in, there was time. But it's not as easy as you put out here publicly, because if it were that super easy, it would have been done when you were on board. And as with any other issue, there's a history within the communities, and part of that history is the bad blood that over the years had built up with that community and some of the leadership in the past with this district. So there's a lot that we have to cover, there's a lot that we need to tend to, there's a lot that we need to pay attention to, and it's not as easy going in and shaking hands and say, hey buddy, what's up? It's not that easy, and if it were that easy, you would have done it when you were on board.
Can I ask you another question? Is there a timeline for this decision? Is there a specific timeline yet?
There's a questionnaire that has been delivered to this group to Frontiers Valley and to the petitioners who are citizens of Roswell Farms. The two school districts must respond by April 2nd. So that's where we are right now. I don't know if
That's correct.
strangers may want to elaborate.
Once that response goes in.
The secretary has no timeline.
Oh, there's no time. It could
Secretary
be a
can
month,
do what
6
he
months,
or she at that point may want.
Okay, so there's no time.
Could do it in 10 days, could do it in 10 months. There's no way to predict.
As I understand, please correct me if I get any of this wrong, the process very basically is one where citizens are allowed to petition to go to another district. They need half plus one to sign a petition. That was done, it went to the court. The court basically said, yes, your petition's valid, and also made sure other things were appropriate, that they were contiguous to the district they wanted to move to. Basically, they said, you qualify to go to the next step. The next step is the Department of Education assesses the situation. And there needs to be, according to the district, according to the school code, there needs to be, and I forget the exact terminology, but basically an educational reason to do this. So this is the assessment that the Secretary of Education will do. And with that, deliver it to the court, and as I understand the school code, the court is obligated to rule consistent with the determination of the Secretary of Education.
That's correct.
So
then it is sent on to the State Board of Education.
So the Secretary is going to make this decision.
Yes, right. Thank you.
Do that. Yes. Step to the microphone, introduce yourself and where you're from.
Sure. Ms. Dr. And I'm the president. Mrs. Shrippa, you are to be respected for your longtime citizens. I ask you to do the honorable thing now.
Anyone else from the audience who'd like to speak? Anything any director would like to say? There being nothing else, I will entertain at this point a motion to adjourn. There is a motion, is there a second? Moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Meeting is adjourned.